MultiChoice has announced the withdrawal of DSTV services from Malawi with immediate effect after the country's government succeeded in blocking its latest price increases. MultiChoice last month hiked DST tariffs, but Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority obtained an injunction against the hike, and MultiChoice Malawi obtained a stay in order to allow it to comply with the injunction. The company argued that it does not provide DST services as these services are offered by MultiChoice Africa Holdings. Hence, it could not adequately comply with the injunction. The company says it will not accept new subscriptions or reconnections starting today, and all ongoing subscriptions will be honored until September the 10th. George Mango reports.
Before the withdrawal of DSTV services in Malawi by MultiChoice Africa Holdings on Tuesday, the High Court in the administrative capital Lilongwe sustained the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority MACRA injunction for the company not to implement new charges from August 1. But MultiChoice Malawi argues that the company does not offer the DSTV service to the public and therefore cannot set or adjust tariffs for the service, a point which has been repeatedly made to MACRA, a government entity. The order handed down to the company carries with it grave consequences for the directors and management of MultiChoice Malawi, including imprisonment. The statement by MultiChoice Africa added that given the impact on its supplier and an increasingly adverse regulatory environment, MultiChoice Africa Holdings is therefore left with no choice but to terminate the DSTV service indefinitely. In an interview with a media consumer rights campaigner Daniel Nyirongo, the development is sad for many Malawians, tourists and the hospitality sector.
We have to accept that the DSTV services are needed in Malawi, particularly considering that we wish to promote tourism. Now, Malawi will not have this product. I'll talk of football leagues like the Premier League, the Italian Serie A, the Champions League, the FA Cup, sports, tennis, Formula One, and so many other tournaments that tourists and visitors to hotels, lodges, resorts would wish to enjoy watching. So in that regard, it is a sad development. However, we should also be mindful and accept that indeed the cost of DSTV has been very expensive. It would be ideal if MACRA and the MultiChoice Malawi and the MultiChoice Africa reached a consensus. One possible way was to perhaps have a new pricing format for the MultiChoice services, pay-per-view, for example, or an option for customers to be able to choose the kind of channels they would wish to have on their package and pay for those, unlike having a wholesome bouquet of the premium bouquet, for example, where people pay for channels which they don't want. The other option would be to maybe tie the pricing to the number of hours that a person watches. If, for example, someone watches their TV just for 3 out of the 24 hours in a day, let them pay something less than for somebody who watches 10 hours of their TV.
The company has since said it will not accept new subscriptions or reconnections starting August 9, and ongoing subscriptions will be honored until September 10. Meanwhile, MACRA, through its communications officer Wes Nkomasomba, has maintained that it expects MultiChoice Malawi to implement the court order without delay, since any person who disobeys the court order may be charged with contempt of court. However, a development economist from the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, Sen Zuka, thinks that a dialogue would have been very vital to solving the row between the two entities. The matter in court is about MACRA objecting to an adjustment to DSTV tariffs for which MultiChoice Holdings Africa describes Malawi as an increasingly adverse regulatory environment that has left it with no option but terminate DSTV service indefinitely. George Muhango, Channel Africa News, Blantyre.